Hello everyone, my name is Mond, and I'm a designer from United Make, a multidisciplinary studio that looks at design to challenge and tackle the problems of the 21st century. Now, we do a lot of projects at United Make in all shapes and sizes, from using coffee waste, turning them into everyday objects, such as recycled coffee ground lampshades, to designing sculptures in Shanghai that filter and clean the air. And also we design with time, so over time, the sculpture would give back to the community and start growing greenery on top. We also look at the future of landscapes when robots or machinery start talking to us. What would a kinetic forest look like? How would it respond? What would it say? And how would it say it? We also tell stories through artwork. So this was done for the Facebook headquarters in Singapore, where we burnt 20,000 chopsticks, locally sourced, into a merlion. They'll talk about the times and stuff about Singapore. And also what we do is we speculate about cities. Now, when automation takes off, when augmented reality happens, subscription-based models, what would a future look like? At the heart of what United Make does is we really design with wonder and impact. And today, I would like to share with you a journey. So, I grew up in Melbourne. And I still remember my parents working 7 days a week in multiple jobs. And one of those jobs that my dad would have was he would draw houses for real estate companies. And at a young age, I would join him. I innocently remember the first time I was drawing, I asked my father, how much was mine worth? And he said that the piece of paper was worth more than my drawing. Nonetheless, that made me motivated to draw even more. And the drawing you see behind you is the one that my dad and I did together. And this was before drones were invented. This was before Google Maps was even there. So we had to construct this out of our imagination. And eventually, this ended up in newspapers. And to tell you a little trade secret, we didn't have Control-Zs and undo buttons. So if we ever made a mistake, we would draw a tree or a bush to cover it up. And you can probably tell we made a few mistakes. This is where my fascination with architecture, design, and drawing all really began. But inevitably, as technology got better, photos, social media, films started taking over this space. So let me take you to a place called Adatnalta, an island on the east coast of Mexico where illegal mining happens, where rare earth minerals are dug up, and these minerals are used in our phones, laptops, and electronic devices. Ottonif is harvested to make our phones load milliseconds faster. There's a Wikipedia article that you can go online to read about it. There's videos on YouTube about the landscape. There's images online of what it used to be and what it is now. These are the people, these are the places, and the devices that you hold in front of you is what's sold to you. Have you ever considered where our phones are made? How much of the world we hold in our pockets, and how we're able to view these places and the devices that are causing these places? Now, Adatnalta is entirely fictional. From its name, its place, its narrative, it's all designed through a more modern-day understanding of place. A place on the internet and the flickering of screens. Now, throughout history, we've always created fictional places, from Atlantis, El Dorado, to Sandy Island. One belief about Atlantis was that Plato, being a master storyteller, used to tell the politicians of Greece that the people in Atlantis got so greedy and corrupt that they sent them to the bottom of the ocean. Plato using Atlantis as a cautionary tale. Adet is an island in response to the conflict technologies that we're using to even watch this talk. We as architects and designers are now able to construct a place without it being physically manifested. Now, how many of you today came to this location using Google Maps and Google Earth? Can I see a raise of hands? I certainly did, because I'm from Melbourne, so. How does it all really work? Where is it actually going? These are the questions that I really just wanted to understand. So I started on an experiment. I started by uploading obscure sky photos onto Panoramio, a third-party program, and that was accepted, because how could they tell the difference between skies? Then I started mismatching locations, so I tagged my London photos in Mexico and my Mexico photos in London. That also got accepted. Then I was a bit cheeky, I started photoshopping them, right? Using my drawing skills to its ability. And then I eventually rendered them from complete scratch. They became so real that even Google's algorithms couldn't tell them apart. I got so obsessed about them that I even simulated the angle of lighting for the latitude and longitude of where this island was, so that if you analyze that picture, you can actually distill it back to that island. And this is in 2013 when Google MapMaper came open. So what did I do? I wrote to Google, as any good person would. Dear Google, this island without a name is called Adet Nolta. I see some of you trying to find this island. A key to this is it's Atlantis in Spanish backwards. Yeah? So I waited 2 weeks, and I got a response. Congratulations. We have made changes based on your suggestions. Happy mapping. So I thought it was only logical to make a website, talk about the island, make a mineral content about the island, typology, talk about the people, make a Wikipedia page, had people add to it, had strangers even edit it and make it even more refined, and I uploaded a typographical map as well. And then I even made a trailer, and I told a story about this island, how the Lozeta cartel would take people there, mine this island. And then it started popping up in news feeds, on Facebook, on trip suggestions, that this island. And through webcam travel, I made a stage set model that was live streamed onto Google Earth. This steals from stage set designers, illusion artists. So the front's like 1 to 100, or recedes back to 1 to 200 for your nerds out there. And then this project basically referenced informal, cities in Mexico, the Congo, and it got so far that I got a phone call one day from a National Geographic photographer, and he said, "Mond, tell me, is this place safe to travel?" Now, this fiction I created in 2013 weaves together many things we're going to face in the future. We're currently in an era where there's so many information around us that what do we really believe in, and how do we actually see this world? The trust we put in technology can be exploited, but at the same time, it has offered us an opportunity to explore. Now, as a designer and architect, we do many, many designs. And throughout history, as architects in the last 200 years, we've done these amazing, spectacular, beautiful spaces, but guess what? None of them are actually built. They just reside on paper. Only 0.5% of architectural competitions that we do are actually built. So what happens to the other 99.5%? Do we just see them on the screen, or do we just have them on paper? Well, what we did was we built a platform for people to experience these. Take Piranesi, an 18th century architect who built only one building but did many beautiful etchings. People thought that this was an impossible space, unfeasible. He's actually an illusion artist that Escher was inspired by him. So what did we do? We painted this in virtual reality. Brush by brush, stroke by stroke. We went to the Melbourne University archives and got an original print, analyzed it, how would you do it, and did it in life size. I think we spent around 250 hours in virtual reality just carving this space. And yes, your eyes do get watery, and yes, you do get dizzy, and yes, I do recommend taking breaks. And then after this, now people can actually go visit this place. So what's amazing about this space is that it can only reside in the digital space. It's impossible to be built. It's an illusion. And you can visit this place anywhere in the world if you have a VR headset or you have the internet. But do you know what excites me the most about the future? The day when we can't tell the difference between the two. When the physical world will start blurring into the virtual world, and architecture will be an expression of ourselves. To be honest, we're not really far off from this. We already decide on where to stay, on ratings on Airbnb. We live through people's Instagram feeds. Who says we can't see the Wi-Fi signals and radio waves of our apartment? Or if you just swipe right, let's bask in a room of gold like El Dorado. Or if that's not your thing, then maybe I'll take you to a ruin where you can learn about the history of a place, tell a story about a place. Just like when I was drawing fictions as a little kid for real estate companies, to creating Ad at Nolta, we in the future are the reality makers, not just on the flat screen, but through visceral, experiential pixels of tomorrow. Thank you.